Hello, Parkway family of educators. This is Mrs. Wilkerson, your reading specialist and campus SST coordinator. I'd like to share with you RTI and progress monitoring that will be used this year at Parkway Elementary. We're going to focus on the PLC question, how will we respond when some students don't learn? We will respond through interventions that are timely, systematic, increasingly focused and targeted, intensive and research-based. The pyramid response to intervention has 3 tiers. Tier 1 is a coherent and viable core curriculum that embeds ongoing monitoring for all students. Tier 2 provides immediate and powerful targeted interventions that are systematically applied and monitored for any students not achieving. Students in Tier 3 receive intensive interventions focused on closing their gaps. Steps to increase intensity for students who are in need is to provide a high-quality instruction in Tier 1 for all students. Using universal or common screening assessments such as the TEMI, the Faunus and Pinnell Benchmark Assessment System, or iStation. Implementing a classroom intervention, monitoring students' progress in the core program, initiating a supplemental Tier 2 intervention, monitoring student progress at the Tier 2 level, initiating an intensive Tier 3 intervention, monitoring student progress in response to the intensive intervention, and finally, referral for assessment for students to determine whether they have a learning disability. As you can see, the steps are focused on student progress and closing the gap with continuous monitoring of student progress. The progress monitoring for students who don't learn will include a targeted intervention focus with specific interventions, begin and end dates, frequency of the interventions given, progress monitoring dates and assessment tool documentation, progress monitoring scores, review dates, and intervention outcomes. At this time, I'd like to share with you our progress monitoring template that will be used for interventions. On a side note, our LLI for reading, our leveled literacy intervention, does include its own progress monitoring form, and we will use the Faunus and Pinnell progress monitoring tool for LLI. This is our progress monitoring tool that we'll use for core subject areas. The intervention focus. This is the area and behavior at the top portion of your intervention sheet from our PRIM book. For example, number 46 says, fails to demonstrate word comprehension. The interventions. These are the specific interventions from the PRIM book, LLI, and/or other interventions by the teacher. Example, intervention number 55 deals with context clues, and so we just put context clue intervention number 55. Or maybe teacher intervention like word part analysis, like affixes and roots. You can even put a LLI lesson number here, because even though students will receive interventions in LLI, we want to accelerate their learning by offering other interventions as well. The begin date, you'll just enter the date that you started the particular intervention, as well as enter the end date of the intervention. Frequency is how often the intervention is administered and for how long. Example, 20 minutes, 5 days a week. Grouping is where you would indicate if the student received intervention with a small group or one-on-one. The progress monitoring dates and assessment tool. In this column, you will enter the date and the tool used to assess students to monitor how the intervention is working. Please include the concrete assessment with the score. If no concrete assessment is available, Include anecdotal notes of behaviors observed and student responses. We will collect these at our SST meetings. Progress monitoring percentage score. Enter the percentage of accurate responses for the progress monitoring assessment. Review dates with team and specialists. These are the dates that the team discussed the student's progress. This could be your team meetings as well as SST meetings with instructional specialists. These review dates are very important as they show that we are continuously monitoring students' progress. And finally, intervention outcome. This is the outcome of the intervention. Check the outcome at least every week to decide if the intervention is working or not. Use the legend below to code the outcome. So our codes for the outcome will be CI for continue interventions, I, intensify interventions, which means intensify the time, NI, new intervention, NC, no change, P for progressing, and D, declined in progress. Your intervention resources are the Pre-Referral Intervention Manual, the PRIM. We do have several PRIM manuals on campus. When you come to SST meetings, your instructional support team will provide you with the interventions from the manual as well as other ideas for interventions. Also, Intervention Central is a wonderful website that has interventions for both academic and behavior, iStation interventions, basal intervention materials, and of course your instructional support team, Ms. Lambert, Ms. Reed, and myself are happy to help you with interventions for our students. Thanks, and please let us know how we can support you as we work together to achieve success for all students. Until next time, goodbye.